So the crazy shooting of Charlie Kirk just happened. It is weird that that event is being compared to the school shooting, and so it's like the school shooting is trying to fight for the attention. It's all terrible. It's all horrific. Here's a quote here. It says, Charlie Kirk says, gun deaths, unfortunately, are worth it to keep the Second Amendment. Here is an attack on the Freedom Flotilla. Now, they're going to say that that was a firecracker. Dave Rubin just put out a video that said that this here is a firecracker. It's just a flare. And they shot themselves. Okay, so if you saw it, it came from up there and it came from away from the boat. That was not a firecracker that they lit. It wasn't a flare. They were attacked by somebody, by something. Trust your eyes. 1984 says the final thing is to, here's some crazy stuff that's happening. These guys are just harassing the Palestinians. This is a little moment of levity here. This guy's going around just giving people a noodle, and then he's just kind of like having it out, just therapy, taking wet noodles and just kind of playfully hitting each other with these foam. I mean, that could help, that could help. It's funny. Some crazy shit's going on in Nepal. They just burnt down the parliament because they cut social media off. So the parliament, this is coming out of Kathmandu, Nepal. The parliament is on fire. Banksy, they took his little painting down.
And this weekend, there was an all-out propaganda campaign trying to make it seem as if Israel is intentionally starving the people of Gaza. I hate being lied to, especially by the media networks. They lied to us about COVID. They lied to us about the vaccines. They lied to us about open borders. They lied to us Hunter Biden laptop. Joining us now is Rabbi Walicki, a great friend, and thank you so much for defending me the other day. Rabbi Walicki, you're also the YouTube, people can find you on YouTube, Israel 365. Rabbi, let's just...
Okay, so he's saying that the starvation campaign is not true. It's a fucking genocide. Oh my fucking God. I want to actually see the full speech of what Charlie Kirk had said. He had spoke for 20 minutes. He was in the question and answer portion. And the last moments, the last things that he said was incredible.
A lot of damage, but I can't stand the word empathy. Actually, I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage, but I can't stand the word empathy. Actually, I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage, but I can't stand the word empathy. Actually, I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that...
Empathy is a made-up New Age term? Empathy is a made-up New Age term. So he's telling people that you shouldn't have empathy. You should not put yourself... How is that Christian? How can you know you're supposed to treat your neighbor as yourself? How can you treat your neighbor as yourself if you cannot put yourself in the position, walk a mile in their shoes? What was that? To Kill a Mockingbird says you're supposed to walk around in their skin. Jump into their skin and walk around for a while. Hey, no, I gotta do this video thing. There's a whole bunch of clips that Charlie Kirk had said. There's this one particular clips that I actually want to show. It's what he was talking about right before he had got shot. Right before he had got shot, he was saying, he was talking about gang violence. He was kind of laughing about trans. Listen to this.
Americans have been mass shooters over the last...
So I think he says that, trans people have only been mass shooters 5 times. And then he says, you know how many... He's basically asking about the statistics of mass shootings.
So, do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years? Too many.
So 5. He's saying that how many in the past 5? How many?
shooters over the last 10 years?
Over the last 10 years, 5 trans people have been mass shooters. In the last 10 years. That's crazy. That's a crazy stat.
Too many. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years? Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
So, essentially, he was kind of making fun of trans people in a way, but he wasn't listening to the question. I want to know where this guy was going. What percentage are trans people? What is the main problem? Can you see a pattern? So let's carry on. I want to listen to the entire speech because I just want to hear, how provocative that he was. Is he just totally laughing at anybody that has empathy and compassion and that cares about people? If you have a heart, you're a piece of shit. If you care about the community, you don't deserve to breathe. I just want to know how intense his rhetoric was. There's a lot of crazy quotes. He's justifying, multiple people were shot in Evergreen High School in Jefferson County. I hear that somebody posted that this older man was not the shooter. He got arrested, but he was not the shooter, and that the shooter actually was in a different building 200 yards away, and he escaped in the chaos. So the guy that shot Charlie Kirk is still running around, free as a bird. It took, several days to go after the shooter of Melissa Hortman. And then when I think about John Wilkes Booth, he ran for 12 days. He was free for 12 days before they caught him. And if he would have gotten into the Deep South, he would have been fine for the rest of his life. He probably would have been set up nicely. Here's some other political violence. I don't know why we're making the distinction between political violence and regular violence. If one citizen shoots another citizen, political just means power. So a lot of people would shoot another person for power, for the sake of power. It's all political violence. How is it not political? Of course the politicians are going to be like, hey, guys, we shouldn't be doing political violence, All violence is political. And then it's interesting, the hypocrisy, because genociding 400,000 people, that's political violence. But the plot to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer, the storming of the Capitol, the pipe bombs left at the RNC and DNC, the break-in to kidnap Nancy Pelosi, multiple assassination attempts. There was an assassination of the Prime Minister of Yemen, John Hoffman. John Hoffman was shot but lived. Melissa Hortman was shot and killed, and her husband. And then Brian Thompson, and then Charlie Kirk. So, they're talking about political violence is contagious. It's spreading. There's a dead body that was found in Costilla County. If you're just a poor peasant nobody gives a shit. When the elites start caring about our lives the same way that they expect the rest of us to care about theirs, then I'll be more, out to listen. There's a dead body that was found in Costilla County. Did the police do like a 20-mile perimeter? Go door to door asking anybody and everybody what they saw or what they didn't see, and get down to the bottom, to the brass tacks? No, I want to know if you were there. Did you see something or didn't you see something? Get a sense of who's talking, to the police, who's honest, who's decent, and who's not. Go door to door. There's a dead person. That person wanted to live, but now he's dead. Was it justified? Was it not justified? Who did it? Arrest the person that did it. If it was justified, then let the jury acquit them. But just to allow people to get shot and killed and then just let the body lay there because you are terrible investigators, you can't, get to the bottom of things, you can't stop the crimes that are happening. It's bullshit. It's like people, if you got 3 cops on duty, that means there's other people that could be good police officers. There's a lot of citizens. It's almost, I think you have to start a citizens brigade, a good citizens brigade. Let's carry on and see if there's any more.
Times, I'm looking at all these places, and there's a little bit of mention here. For example, Politico says top Republicans reject any link between GOP rhetoric and Paul Pelosi assault. Of course you should reject any link. Why is the Republican Party, why is the conservative movement to blame for gay schizophrenic nudists that are hemp jewelry makers breaking into somebody's home, or maybe not breaking into somebody's home? Why are we to blame for that exactly? And why is he still in jail? Why has he not been bailed out?
That is so weird. So he's doubting whether or not he broke in. He might have just walked in. That's not breaking in, entering. That's just entering, right? And then he's making light of the thing, and then he's asking about whether or not you should have bailed the guy out. The president made fun of the thing, something about his gay lover or something. They were talking about how Paul Pelosi's gay lover came and tried to attack him or something.
By the way, if some amazing patriot out there in San Francisco or the Bay Area...
I mean, look how provocative this is. He's saying that if somebody bailed out this guy that attacked Paul Pelosi with a hammer, hit him in the head, I don't know if it gave him like brain damage or something, but it was substantially, alarming, blood, violence. He's saying that if you had bailed out the guy who took a hammer to Paul Pelosi, that would be an amazing super patriot. Why would you be a super patriot if you bailed the guy out?
Wants to really be a midterm hero? Someone should go and bail this guy out. I bet his bail's like $30,000 or $40,000. Bail him out, and then go ask him some questions. I wonder what his bail is. They're going after him with attempted murder, political assassination, all this sort of stuff.
Wouldn't that be the case?
I'm not qualifying it. I think it's awful. It's not right. But why is it that in Chicago you're able to commit murder and be out the next day? Why is it that you're able to trespass, second-degree murder, arson, threat of public official, cashless bail? This happens all over San Francisco, but if you go after the Pelosi's, oh, you're let out immediately.
What? When our days become dreary with low-hanging clouds of despair, and when our nights become darker than 1,000 midnights, we will know that we are living in the creative turmoil of a genuine civilization struggling to be born.